Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to another video. For the scent of the day, I have a few things to share with you today. My first thing is this Yankee Candle Sea Coral Candle, and I'm back on this one because I finished burning my Walmart one and I'm really sad that that one's gone. And then secondly, I don't know if I've really talked about this yet, but I'm really big into couponing and deals and things like that. This past Friday when I went couponing, I got these for free. And I don't know if you've been following along with my horrible Airwick experience, but I'm hoping that these scents are not nearly as bad as the one that I have in there right now. So this one over here is called Fresh Waters, and this one right here is called Vanilla and Pink Papaya. So those both sound pretty good, and I'm excited to try these out. If you're new to my channel, then welcome, and if you don't mind, please take a few minutes to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I do post a lot of different content, so I would hate for you to miss anything interesting. And secondly, I do post every single day on Instagram and Reddit. So if you like content that's updated daily and you're active over there, be sure to go give me a follow. Well guys, today's video is nothing new, but we do have a new palette of the week. So for the entirety of today's video, we're gonna be talking about the Illamasqua Unveiled Artistry palette. And here's a quick peek at the inside before we get started so you can see what we're working with. It's very, very neutral toned, and I'm one of those people that I can go either way. I love, love, love rainbow palettes, and I love a good neutral tone palette. So either way, I'm pretty happy. So for today's look, what we're gonna do is called a relaxed cut crease. And this is a very simple look, and it's such a statement look as well. And when you use a really, really good palette and create this look, you get a stunning effect. So let's get right into part one, which is the tutorial, and I will see you shortly. Hey everybody, I am back and quite zoomed in. So before we get started with the eyeshadow, we're gonna do the usual. And what we're gonna start with is tight lining. And for that, I'm going in with my L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Eye Pencil. Best tight liner you can get. And I'm just gonna put this in my upper waterline. And as I sit here and tight line my upper waterline, I just wanted to remind you, now hear me out, okay? The Sephora event is going on. And I'm sure each and every one of you watching this knows that. Because if you're anything like me, your YouTube feed is filled with nothing but Sephora linked videos. I'm not saying all of them are sponsored or anything, but they all have to do with the Sephora VIB event. And I come here today to remind you, Sephora is a multi-million-dollar company. And for them to offer a very measly tiered discount twice a year, you don't need to buy anything. Don't feel like you're under pressure to buy anything in the Sephora sale at all. You can get some better deals just by going to the websites of the products that you like and signing up for their emails, watching out for an email, and you could get some fantastic deals that way, a lot better than 20%. So yeah guys, don't feel like you have to spend an arm and a leg just because Sephora is having a 20% off sale. In my opinion, it's totally not worth it. Their items are extremely overpriced and they have a very high markup on them. And half of the videos that you see with Sephora recommendations this time of year are sponsored videos. So they're getting paid in order to pressure you to purchase items at this event. So before you click that buy it now button, just keep that in mind. And makeup and beauty products are always a want good. So they are not a necessity and you don't need anything. So with that, let's get right into eye primer. And today I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and use this MTU NYC eye primer. And this is a company that I recently just explored. And they have some really cool things at some really great prices. So now on to the eyeshadow look. So the first thing we're gonna do is highlight our brow bone. And I watch a lot of makeup artistry, and a lot of the professional makeup artists like to start by highlighting the brow bone area. So I figured I would just try it. So the best brush that I found for this particular duty is a very short and stubby brush, but it's quite thin at the tip. So I'm gonna go into the shade Spirit and coat my brush with that. And then I'm just going to apply this directly under my brow along the entire length of my brow. If you couldn't tell this about me, I care more about a brush's shape than the brand name of it. I think that each shape of a brush is very important because the shape is what gives you the effect. So for instance, the next brush that I'm going into is a blending brush. And this brush is quite pinched right here, and it does grow bigger as it gains more length. And the effect that you're gonna get from a blending brush like this is very different than the effect that you're gonna get from a blending brush like this. So that's why I always like to point out the shape of the brushes that I'm using. So like I said, this is the next one we're going into. It's a blending brush, but it's really flat at the end. And we're gonna dip into a shade called Assured. And like always, I start in the middle of my eye and just create a faux crease by stopping at an outer point out here and then bringing it into my inner corner. This flat brush is really nice for this job because it creates just a very soft look and it doesn't apply the colors too pigmented. Now the next brush I'm going into is just a very small detailed brush, and I'm going into the shade called Honor. And again, starting in the middle of my eye, but this time I'm gonna go into where my actual crease is and just put this into my crease. And what we're doing here is we're gonna define our faux crease. The next brush you wanna grab is a domed blending brush. Make sure it's kind of small if you can. And then just blend in what we just worked on. You wanna blend in that darker shade and bring it up a little bit. Basically, you just don't wanna see a super harsh line right there. For the next step, I'm going back into my detailed brush, and I'm going into the shade called Empower, which is the deepest shade in this palette. And now we're gonna start in the middle of our lash line, kind of like right about here. And we're gonna create a diagonal line to the outer corner. And you can fill in the bottom part of it with that same color. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my brush after I wiped it off so there's no extra product on it, and I'm gonna go where this harsh line is right there, that diagonal line, and I'm just gonna pull it up and over. It just creates like a little windswept blend, and I kind of like it. For this next part, I'm going into a really tiny eyeliner brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade called Distinct. And with this shade, we're gonna create a faux lid. So you just kind of want to outline where you want to have it. And I take mine to about the center part of the lid right here, and then I stop. And be sure to drag that down to your inner corner as well. And you can use the same brush, or you can grab your detail brush back, either way. And you just want to fill this in till about you reach halfway to the lid. Now with that same eyeliner brush, I'm going into a shade called Vivacity. And I'm gonna take it up to that top where we drew the line and continue the line. Just a little bit further. And then again, I'm just gonna use the same brush to fill in this little section right here. To blend these two shades together, I go in with a little bit more of Distinct and just kind of slowly bring it over. And same thing with Vivacity, I just put a little bit more on my brush and kind of slowly bring it into that dark brown. For the waterline, I just kept it simple and went in with just a basic brown. And now I'm just going back into that eyeliner brush. We're actually doing a lot of work with this thing today. And I'm going back into the shade called Empower, which is that deep matte brown. And the reason why I'm using an eyeliner brush for this is because I want to maintain control on the lower lash line and not let it get too big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in the middle and put this all the way to the outer corner and match it up with the top part coming down. Again, with that same eyeliner brush, going into the shade called Distinct, and I'm gonna put this from my inner corner all the way to that brown. And when you meet up with the brown, you kind of want to swipe it over a few times just so it looks blended a little bit. Now just grab any old pencil brush and go into the shade called Zealous and just stick that in your inner corner. And put a little bit on your brow arch as well. So that's a whole look. I'm just gonna put some mascara on and I shall be right back. So guys, here's the finished look, and I really like how it turned out. Like I said earlier, it's very simple, but it has a nice big impact. So be sure and let me know in the comments down below what you think about this, and if you've ever tried a relaxed cut crease before. So if you still want to hang out with me a little bit, I'm gonna get right into part 2 right now. Hey guys, welcome to part 2. This is the review of the palette now. So here she is in all of her glory. Again, this is called the Illamasqua Unveiled Artistry palette. And looking at the outside of it is definitely an irregular quadrilateral shape. And I don't have any other palettes like this in my collection. And the actual material is one of those soft touch mattes, kind of like the NARS packaging. And then when you open it up, you have kind of a small mirror inside. And then here's the color story. You get 12 different shades, and they each weigh 1 gram each, which is an average amount of shadow per pan. As you can see, there are only 2 formulas in this palette. The top row is all your metallics, and the bottom row are all your mattes. So you get 6 of each. The matte formula in here is absolute perfection. It is so easy to blend and so easy to work with in general. And these do have a buildable nature to them. So when you apply them, they're a little bit less pigmented, and then you put a little bit more on, and then it keeps increasing in color. The metallics in this palette are beautiful. They are all foiled shades, and they contain everything that I look for in a great metallic. They are very highly reflective, they blend easily, and they pick up super well on a brush. As you can see just by looking at this, there's a very nice light to dark gradient in here, and there's a 50% balance ratio of formulas in here, so you're getting half mattes, half metallics, and I really do like that. Now I'm gonna pop up a picture of some swatches that I took from this palette so you can see how everything looks swatched out. Now we're gonna get into a little bit more information. So the way this palette is described is that it is a collection of the most wearable and the most versatile eyeshadows for every skin tone and every occasion. And I totally agree with that description. This palette is cruelty-free and it is vegan. And now we're gonna get into my favorite part of this video, which is the cost. If you went out and bought this palette as it is today, it would cost you $50. Breaking that down a little bit, it comes to $4.17 per shade. And again, it comes to $4.17 per gram. So as compared to market pricing and value, these are definitely affordable, but they are on the higher end of affordable. Now we're gonna get into my recommendation. When I wore this, I got absolutely no patching or creasing. I did get quite a bit of pickup in the pans, but I did not get any fallout on my face. And in my personal opinion, this is hands down one of the best palettes that I've tried all year long. And I would totally highly recommend checking this palette out. And there are 3 reasons why. First, it's very easy to blend, so you're not gonna run into any issues where the shadows are too stubborn and you're gonna get harsh lines. It's not gonna do that for you. Secondly, these are an exceptional shadow formulation. Both the mattes and the metallics have gone above and beyond my expectations and really blown me away. And thirdly, in this palette, you get a nice balance of formulas. So you don't have too many mattes overwhelming the palette, and you have enough metallics in here to really vary your look every now and then. So yeah guys, if you're gonna check that palette out, let me know in the comments down below. But we did receive this in BoxyCharm one month, so I'm sure a lot of you have it out there, and let me know how often you use it because I really like this one. So wrapping everything up, that was my video for today. I hope you really enjoyed it and found it helpful. And if you did enjoy it, it would be very helpful if you did give it a big giant thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, just hit that thumbs down button. And until next time, bye.